Billy Bat Productions presents The Hermanists, a satire show that remixes feminist history into a twisted comedy series. Some episodes contain adult content and strong language, just like in your daily life. This series contains dangerous ideas, possibilities, and a complete rewriting of history, just like in your daily life. Welcome to The Hermanists!
The truth.
Nothing
is true.
Everything
is broken.
The first thing I do in the morning is brush my teeth and sharpen my
all
jaw.
doomed.
Diddy join the circus. We're all doomed.
Calm down, woman.
Burn it down!
Burn it down!
It's women o'clock. This is women time. I am a man.
Women time with a women.
I am a woman. I'm a woman.
Today's main stories: the anxiety disorder no one's talking about, and neither will we. Micro-workouts versus microaggressions. Which burns more calories? Are misandrists killing the American dream? And coming up, the usual debate about what's for dinner. And a foreign secretary who only eats fruit.
No one cares!
But first, the headlines. Books
from the
from...
women's history section will now be labeled as science fiction. 52% of women have reported wanting a more sustainable cosmetics industry, and the other 48% said,
We don't care!
All lesbians are hairy. Male feminists are lesbians. 75% of true crime consumers are women, pushing reality television out of the top spot for human misery as entertainment. And all feminists hate men.
And speaking of true crime, the fifth leading cause of death for women is homicide. What can be done about it?
Maybe you should shut the up.
There will be a discussion and recommendations out soon. We promise, soon. The chairman of the discussion group, Mr. Manly Man, has given a timetable of 100 years for completion and recommendations, providing the funding holds out. All women are invited to listen to the all-male discussion, which will be held at 4 a.m. down a dark tunnel, under an overpass, past a dilapidated warehouse, through a disused razor and syringe-filled playground, in between the construction site and the docks. There will be no parking available. Dress code is nothing skimpy, alluring, or masculine. Should you wish to have your voice heard, do not be shrill or disrespectful. Good luck.
Women time.
And now, women in sports. The
National
National
Women's Soccer have finally won their case for equal pay. Don't shut that door behind you, ladies. Women's softball has been gaining traction for eyeballs on the game. Will that lead to more sponsorships and equal pay? The 90 American female gymnasts who survived the abuse and assault of Larry Butthole Nassar have brought a lawsuit against the FBI for their handling of the Nassar case. That's 90 women over a 20-year period who filed complaints with corroborating evidence, and these women were not interviewed. The complaints were not investigated, and instead, the FBI agents conspired with the U.S. Olympic Committee and USA Gymnastics to conceal the sexual abuse. And the Justice Department has, for a third time, declined to prosecute the FBI agents, even though the Inspector General found the agents had lied to the Justice Department investigators. Swings and roundabouts, ladies, swings and roundabouts. Women time.
For a trending story segment, we bring you our new Don't Panic, but...
Don't panic, but you are already older now than when you started this newscast. And what have you accomplished? Don't panic, but there's a new virus on the beat, and this one's a doozy. It will leave you begging for death. Don't panic, but there's a toxic arsenic cloud headed right for you. Don't panic, but you are not doing anything right. But we've got something for you to buy, so save your pennies. Buy our crap, and we'll make it all go away. Are you all dressed up and know where to panic? Brought to you by Snatch and Grab, a new way to declutter your vagina and spark your joy.
Women time.
Today's top trending story, I bring you
Crop parasites. What are they, and should you go on a date with one? Causal agents include bacteria, viruses, fungi, nematodes, and parasitic plants. Crop parasites and infections can be due to bacteria or yeast, usually caused by unhealthy physiochemical composition in the soil, generally of the Candida species. Sound familiar, ladies? In humans, you can stop the overgrowth of Candida by changes in the diet and taking medical fungicides. But in crops, it can cause a complete shutdown of farming operations. Metaphorically speaking, crop parasites are like the people who show up at your birthday party wanting to spread their filthy mood to everyone else. They start whisper campaigns insulting other guests and make nasty comments about the food spread, refuse to play the party games, and then they start a fight with someone and completely wreck the decorations, and the police get called, and it's just an utter disaster on a day that was to celebrate another trip around the sun for me.
Women time.
Later on the show, we review male protagonists who are both antibacterial and pro-soup. Further updates on the hostages and what are their favorite foods. Is comfort eating ready for public consumption? And a conversation with butterflies.
Women time.
This just in. Murderflix has announced it will no longer be able to continue its popular true crime genre. All the female protagonists have died, and all the crimes were solved. It was the husbands, boyfriends, fathers, and a serial killer.
Fun facts. Wikipedia has a gender problem, despite Jimmy Wales' actions to counter this problem. 32% of the 2021 Primetime Emmys of non-acting nominations went to women. Genetic testing will always reveal you are 1 part amphibious and 1 part someone else and 10 parts asshole. And a quick word with Dorothy Parker.
Beauty is only skin deep, but ugly goes to the bone.
And now the traffic report. Women time. And here's our main report with Sunshine Stevens.
Audre Lorde, America's first shock jock. Lorde was born in February 1934 and known for her shockingly sharp-witted tongue, as was illuminated in the 2001 movie Good Morning, Heidelberg. She was played by Whoopi Goldberg in the epic comedy recounting her days fighting to replace the burnt books in the libraries of Heidelberg. Goldberg won the Oscar for her performance as the former librarian who lit up the airwaves and infuriated the government with her mostly improvised and irreverent humour. Lorde believed language was a powerful form of resistance and promoted women to speak up, not fight back, as she focused on increasing awareness of a cross-section of racial and ethnic injustices. She later took her irreverent style to the American airwaves, first by hysterical critiques on such popular bands as the Beatles, the Monkees, and the Jim Morrison one. That guy has 2 emotions, melancholy and mouth diarrhea. Her profane-laced attack on Lawrence Welk and the cast of Hee Haw splintered the network programming world, but garnered a nationwide audience. As a black woman lesbian, she broke taboos by holding the white broadcasters to account for rewarding white mediocrity and not rewarding and holding up differences in the races and classes. Advertisers lined up in an effort to be associated with this popular public opinion. Radio stations across the country started copying her format. Then, one Wednesday in June, Audrey's partner, Gloria, accused her of being caught in the very circle she was trying to combat and retired. Horrified by her own myopic vision, the next day, Lorde denounced the broadcasting world and the 2 women moved to a Caribbean island to live out their days writing poetry on sandy beaches with beautiful sunsets. But Lorde left an everlasting legacy as not just America's first shock jock, but as a civil rights activist, a poet, a womanist, and dedicating her creative talent to confronting and addressing injustices of racism, sexism, classism, and homophobia.
Thank you for that report, Sunshine. That was fascinating. You'd think I would have heard of this. I mean, I did see Robin Williams in Good Morning.
Nope. Whoopi Goldberg in Good Morning Heidelberg. Oscar winner.
Well, of course I've heard of Audre Lorde, but how could I have
So
missed...
you know everything about civil rights leaders and lesbian poets? Brad.
I was just wondering about your source material. There's no need to get nasty.
Oh, so now I'm a nasty woman.
No, that's not at all what I was saying.
When was the last time you did a woman-positive report? How about next time you do the Feminists in History? I look forward to your woman-positive feminist icon reporting on the struggles instead of critiquing my journalistic integrity.
Fine, I will, and it won't be some cockamamie crapola like you just word vomited.
Excellent. Goodbye. Hi, it's me. I did it. I finally got a man to be interested in women's history.
Women Time, the financial report. And oh my God, it's absolute crap. I mean, what the actual... So get this shit. It's just absolutely shameless. Just when the corporations and the CEOs are trying to make a comeback after the pandemic that didn't happen and isn't continuing with wave after wave of infections and death, the workers are asking for more compensations. The absolute cheek of workers. These grubby poor people actually want more money. Haven't they ever heard of trickle down, or as my friend Bunny says, dribble down? They just are not appreciative of their jobs. I mean, we've even taken the initiative of planting some news items about gratitude, listing items to be grateful for, like your socks, and how it calms your nerves, and being appreciative can fight cancer. And I don't know what they're thinking. They're going to strike? Please. They can't even organize their own finances, let alone a strike. Oh, I'm being terrible. I am, aren't I? Well, in other financial news, you can still get a good deal on some stocks and bonds, and if you're looking for some inflation-proof bonds, we recommend the I-bond. I mean, yeah, it'll take 30 years to mature, but like I always say, start young. And here's another financial tip for industries. Stop blaming consumers for the waste from the plastics industry. Do I manufacture plastic? No. I just needed a couple of flashlights. I didn't pack them in 5 sheets of plastic. How about we flip the script and stop reporting on consumer behavior and report on industrial and corporate behavior and what that actual cost is to the consumer and environment. Women Time. Tonight's PSA, public service announcement, is a tribute to Audre Lorde, so we will use our words. Hear ye, we will from hence this day forth refer to women's sports leagues when reporting on the sports. We will distinguish between basketball and men's basketball, volleyball or men's volleyball, soccer and men's... Men don't play soccer. Have you seen this country's teams? They're horrible. It's like watching toddlers out playing t-ball. But you get the point.
Since last week, we've received many emails and tweets. Keep them coming, because we really want to know what you think for all the issues. And we just might read your comments on the air with your full name and address, and possibly your kid's name as well, what school they go to, where you shop, and when and where you vacation. Isn't that right, Jack 32 of 267 Wright Street in Kalati, Ohio, who thinks I'm a pathetic childish witch with a wart-filled vagina, and he can't wait for my death? Jack teaches Sunday school at the Kalati Baptist Church. Thoughts and prayers, Jack 32. But a full-spirited yee-haw to Teresa and Ben from Albuquerque, who listen to our podcast while brushing down the horses after the couple's riding lessons they give at Horse and Bride, there in Albuquerque. Thanks for listening, Teresa and Ben. And finally, to solve this week's debate, what's for dinner? If it's Tuesday, it's tacos. because if you make a weekly menu, there's no arguments. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back next time.
Women Time. The Hermanists is a Billy Bat production starring Nina Greeley and Sailor Billings. Music by John Bartman from Free Music Archive and sound effects from freesound.org. Thank you for listening. And if the mood strikes you, please like and review.